How do you feel now?
I don't know, doctor. It just feels like everything is going wrong. Like as though I'm comfortable with being unsafe. And I see it from where they put us to live.
Often the poorest people in our country have been forgotten by government.
To the rates of deaths in childbirth, to the rates of incarceration, to the poison in the food we eat, it's everywhere.
Disparity in maternal mortality between Black people and everyone else is one of the most clear signs that structural racism exists.
By giving birth, and Black women are 2 to 3 times more likely to die.
And it's even worse in the UK.
Latest figures show Black women are 4 times more likely to die in pregnancy or childbirth.
I think it was because I was Black. I think it could be a lot of hidden racism.
In a repeated national survey, doctors in all branches of medicine, doctors in all parts of the country were asked, "What cigarette do you smoke, doctor?" Once again, the brand named most was Camel.
But doctors giving bad advice around health, that would never happen nowadays.
Get the overwhelming proportion of the people vaccinated. As a nation, Beth, we will do very, very well.
It doesn't really matter where in the world you live or where you're from. If you've got skin the color of mine, there's a very, very good chance that you've been impacted by this global system in a negative way. At the moment, there are people in the Congo who are being killed. At the same time, there's billions of dollars worth of natural resources being pulled out of that country. So the killing's happening, but the planes are able to come in and land, and they're able to be filled up, and they're able to take off. Fine, they can go straight to the Tesla factory, no problem. But the people on the ground there are being killed. And it can kind of feel like, okay, that's a them problem. But when you really check it, we are dealing with the same thing as well. So for example, I gave that example there. The women in our community being given terrible service by the health service. People are supposed to be looking after you are not looking after you. So we've got to consider what is going on here? What is going on here? Why is it that Black men are being incarcerated so much more than their European counterparts? Why is that? It's not like as though the crime is worse because of the color of your skin. Both sets are doing the same crime. And yet, the amount of people that are in jail are way more if you have the same color skin as me. We see how these things are happening, and it's not right. It's not correct. Like everywhere you go, education, the food you eat, There's this food coloring called Red 40, or Allure Red is another name for it. Red 40 or Allure, this is a very nice name, Allure Red. Now, for the most part, I don't have that in the UK. But over here in Africa, there's an American food store in town. And so now I'm finding some of the things in the fridge have Red 40 in them. There's another yellow as well, and the yellow is definitely carcinogenic. The red one is messes with your mental capabilities. And yet we're afraid to come to Africa. Now, I don't know you, but if you're a person with this color skin and you live anywhere in the West, I don't care where it is, if you're that person and you are between the ages of 19 and 89, and you're still alive. You are a survivor. You are a survivor because you have a whole system, and not just a system, but there's people within that system that are working toward that system to ensure that you fail. They work toward. They put in laws. When I say laws, I mean like quotas. So like there are countries in the Caribbean. Let's take Jamaica for example, where you can take aluminium, I believe it is, or aluminum, depending on where you're from the ground. And you could do that in a way that ensures that you do it responsibly. But in Jamaica, they are ruining the drinking water supply for everybody on the island. And the government is just allowing it to happen. So you have to be a real survivor. It's like, the problem was that when they had enslaved us, I don't think the plan was for us to survive. I think the plan was for us to do the work to build up the country, or in the case of the Caribbean, to run the colony. And then when you've made your money, or you've put yourself in a position of, I'm doing all right, those things have all died off. They all go, and they don't have to worry about us no more. But because you're a survivor, and because your parents were a survivor, because you have a heritage of survivorship. You have a pedigree of strong, unbreakable men and women. That's where you're from. That's who you're from. I don't think anyone was going to be here. And yet here we still are. Some of us, a few, have come back over to Africa. Some of us from the States, some of us from the Caribbean, some of us from the UK and other places, Canada and so on. I don't know where that call came from. I don't know. Some people are religious. Some people say, I'm a Muslim, and as such, I felt I needed to practice my religion on the homeland. There's plenty of African Muslims there. I wanted to be with those people. Other people are like, I'm Christian, and I know that originally Christianity came from Ethiopia, and I want to go back to that Orthodox level Christianity. Other people are like, I'm Hebrew Israelite, and as such, I've heeded the call to come back to my homeland. And then there's other people like me who are just like, I'm not interested. I don't belong here. Let me go back to where I belong. And I came back to Africa. So we all have our various ways and means and reasons for being here. But the fact of the matter is, we are here. We are in a special place because we've survived. There is nothing that's happening here in Africa that you haven't seen before or that you can't handle. It doesn't make sense to say, 4 women died over in the Gambia, so I'm not going to go to the Gambia. Because 4 women will die today, and another 4 tomorrow, and another 4 the day after that, and another 4 the next week, and so on and so forth, in the United States, in Canada, in the UK. So you need to move differently because the rules are different. But it doesn't mean that you can't handle being here. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't come here. I honestly think that regardless of whether you're a man or a woman or a child or whatever, this is your place. Now, no, it doesn't say this is your home. This is your place. Your home is somewhere where people recognize you and you feel very comfortable. When you first get here, you won't feel very comfortable because things are very different. Things are very different here. There's like a difference in what people find acceptable here than what they find acceptable in the West. People will not recognize you as one of them, as family, because you don't belong to any tribe. Your surname is Johnson or Carter or something like that. But give it time, and you will be recognized as someone who belongs there. So don't give up. Don't give up on your dream. Don't give up on your goals. Don't give up on your aspirations. You are the most powerful person on this planet simply because of your heritage and your pedigree. Because no one's been able to stop you. If you wasn't the most powerful person, there wouldn't be systems designed to hold you down. Because if there was no system to hold you down, you would be running the whole thing. You'd be running the shit. So I want to big you up and shout you out, invite you over, come and check out the place, look at the place, see whether it is something that suits you. If West Africa doesn't suit you, East Africa might suit you. East Africa doesn't suit you, then South Africa might suit you. But have a look. It's your brother Marley. And until next time, peace.